Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome from Gloucestershire Live, Kim Horton.
And from BBC Radio Gloucestershire, Manny Mashi. Hello everyone. How are you?
All right, here we go.
We're going to have a good night tonight, aren't we?
Well,
We're going to have a good night tonight.
Let's do a bit of Bob Marley, come on.
Yes, that's what we want, guys. That's what we want. We're dancing. Come on then. Nobody else is dancing. I can't see you dancing. What's going on? So, welcome to this celebration of Black History. And can we also, I want to do this now, and would like to give Valerie a massive round of applause. Can you do that for me, guys? All the work that she's put into this event has been well above and beyond. Ah, she's just phenomenal, isn't she? Don't you agree? So, we're going to be celebrating the Windrush generation tonight. So, Manny, over to you.
Oh, thank you, Kim. Right, I came to Britain myself back in '67, and not only have I tried to sort of integrate with the main host community, I try to drink 10 pints on a Friday night, but I can't manage. How many can you manage, Kim? Come on, you're British.
Fair to say, I could do 7.
Yeah.
7 Guinness, yeah.
But
easy, yeah.
There are things, though, we have brought to this country as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like laughter yoga. Come on, who knows about laughter yoga? This is India.
I don't have a clue.
This is
What's
where
that?
we say that children, every day, they laugh about 35 times a day. But we as adults, we laugh about 13 times a day.
Rubbish.
So I'm going to change that today. We're all going to have a bit of a laugh. Come on. Let's have a bit of a laughter on 1, 2, 3. Laugh!
This is not contrived. No.
Kim, where's your laughter? Come on.
No, you don't want me to do that.
Yeah, we do,
it's
yeah.
like a witch.
Anyway, that is something that I brought with me from India all the way since '67.
Laughter?
Laughter, yes.
It's amazing. Okay. Well, what are we going to do next tonight then, Manny?
Right, let's introduce our first act, shall we?
I've got 10 a page.
Or do you fancy introducing the VIPs? Hey,
Oh.
what about that?
The VIPs?
Yes.
Now I can see several. Who am I going to start with? I'm going to start with Pam Tracy, actually, because she's my favourite. Hello, Pam. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I laugh all the time, 24 hours a day, and in my sleep as well, I should think. Don't I, Donna? Yeah.
She absolutely does.
Must have a feather up my ass.
If you haven't laughed today, you can do that. So Pam, what's your involvement with tonight?
Well, I'm very lucky to know so many lovely people here. I've sat on the St. Anne's Committee, which is our twin town in Jamaica, Kingston, and I'm very lucky to meet people like Mr. Green, Joyce, and everyone else. I've been very well involved with St. Anne's, still waiting for my trip free to Jamaica, jokingly. But no, they're wonderful people. They do so much to bring to the city, and I love their recipes, their food, and they work so hard. And we're so blessed to have such lovely people.
Enriching the city, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, so thanks to Pam over there. Over to you, Manny.
Right, let's introduce you now to the Member of Parliament. I know it's been on the news quite a bit today. We're not going to mention the B word at all, apart from Bollywood, of course. We'll mention Bollywood a little later on. But in the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the Member of Parliament for Gloucester, and that is Richard Graham.
Woo!
Thank you very much, Manny. And yes, we're not allowed to mention the word that dare not say its name, but I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that when I left Gloucester at 6 this morning, I told the guys down there in Westminster, we can mention that word, that I was leaving on the dot at 4 because I had a hot date here in Guildhall with all of you.
Yeah, you did.
And, you know, whatever was going on votes-wise, well, tough. We're going to be here because Kim and Manny, big thank you to both of you, and to Val for organising it all. We are celebrating all of the Windrush generation, but I think we can say not just the Windrush generation, but all your descendants too. And I want to say, if I'm allowed to, before somebody says, oh, get off the mics, time for someone else, I want to say a big thank you to a few people some of whom are here, some of whom might be hiding somewhere, who I think have made a massive difference to the city and to my and Anthea's lives as well. And so I'm going to embarrass, I think I can see two of them here, but they are, if you like, the three wise men, Mr. Green, Mr. Mitchell, and Mr. Dennis.
Amen.
And I think, I'm not sure whether Ken Mitchell is here, but I can see you, sir, and I can see you, sir. And one of the first, I think, Carlton, I think you and the rest of the Green clan were some of the first people we met when we arrived, probably through St. James's Church. And over the years, there have been 2 or 3 occasions in different communities when I've needed to go to someone and ask for advice, ask for their thoughts, ask what was going on and how they interpreted it. And on those sorts of occasions, you need wise men from different communities. And those 3 gentlemen have always been my 3 wise men. So to you 2 who are here, thank you very much indeed. And for anyone who hasn't read it, I strongly recommend a small book called High Hopes and Great Expectations. If it's out of print, you know what, Kim, we need to get it reprinted. We need to get the History Festival or someone to try and get it reprinted, because Carlton's story of what it was like coming over from Jamaica to Britain in those early days, not long after MV Empire Windrush had arrived, they make for poignant reading, because life wasn't a bed of roses then. Let's be absolutely honest. The Neil Diamond song, you know, you never gave me a rose garden. It was absolutely true for your generation. And in a way, everybody else who's come since, the younger ones like Michael and so on, you guys are the beneficiaries of the hard work done by your grandparents. You really are. And there's a lovely line on page 13 of the great brochure that you've all got, which says something like, and this is to the Windrush generation, it says, "Thank you for bearing us on your shoulders. We wouldn't be where we are without you." And by the way, that is true for the city of Gloucester. You look at the influence that other people like Horton Cameron has had on things like Gods, the Gloucester Operatic and Dramatic Society. Look at the Gloucester Day Parade and how many people are there. Look, as Pam was saying, at the St. Anne's Society. Look at all the links and the music and the fun and the drama and the great Jamaican Independence Day in the park. You are such a huge part of the city, and that's what we're celebrating tonight, and that's why I wanted to be here, even if only for a short while, with Anthea, because there's also a big Irish celebration tonight. So we're celebrating Jamaica and Ireland. So from me, Kim, and Manny, really the thing I want to say is a big thank you to everyone who's done so much. The diverse city, the diversity, good pun, that project, which Val, wherever she's been, where is Val?
She's behind the scenes at the moment.
She's behind the scenes. Anyway, she's done a huge amount on. Simon, I know you've done a lot too. And am I right in thinking Tina's been working with you on it? Is she here tonight? Haven't seen her. I just think it's a fantastic project, and I was really proud this year when our History Festival did quite a big event on the Windrush here in Guildhall, which I know some people in the community really, really enjoyed. So from me, it's a big thank you to all of you who've done so much to make this a wonderfully diverse city with all the goodness that comes from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Graham, over there. So, within the evening, we are going to be seeing 9 acts. They're ranging from poetry, singing, and dramatised sketch. Depicting the journey from Jamaica to England. There will also be awards given to people in the community for their work and their contribution to the city.
I know, and it's absolutely fantastic to have you here. So we're going to introduce the first act, and she's only 17, and she's a poet.
Yes, she is. Yeah, 17-year-old poet. She shares her unique and creative passion for the arts of music and culture and drama. She's passed her LAMDA 16+ with distinction and now continues with a performing arts BTEC supported by the Everyman Theatre. That's amazing. Can we give her a round of applause, please? We have got Shakira Mouvla. Thank you.
This poem is called Don't Stay Silent, and it's about Windrush and those types of topics, and about Jamaica and what a lovely island it is. Culture has always developed over time, morphed with another, and then altered. Yet the traditional roots will always be there. The history of the culture will always be present, even if it does fade over time. Some may be forced to change their morals and may be shamed of their beliefs. However, Dr. Martin Luther King said himself, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter." Your culture matters and should never be oppressed, no matter where you come from. Sat silent, sweating, under the sun, I could smell my mum's spice stew wafted from the kitchen to the garden being a tropical one, with fruits of all kinds saturated with the essence of summer. Mango in the morning were to be sliced and shared amongst my siblings. Kind and calm, cool nights kept us awake for the next day's delights. Jamaican ginger was fresh, like the leaf green limes that the island births. Palm trees there seemed to wave. The whole atmosphere was magical, yet was seemed to be a barbaric place in the British media. We were to be blessed to be born with brown and black skin that protected us from the heat. We were blessed to have the melanin to stop us from aging so soon. Yet, still we were not accepted and were treated like dirt. The problem was society's views, how race was the cause of many reasons why foreign families were forced to be fearful, to not be seen as a citizen, but rather an outcast. Jamaicans came to have a better life, but had to fight to be heard. Harsh, hard times held us back, yet we didn't give up on who we were and the strength we had. We were to not be silenced. We knew what mattered.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Shakira, of course. Thank you very much for that.
So now, are you guys ready for the next act? Yeah, good. Okay, so we're going to have a sketch on stage. It is from the guys depicting what happened with the guys from the travel from Jamaica, the West Indies, to the UK. So can we welcome onto the stage Julia, Faith and Valerie Sims. Thank you very much.
Good night, Miss Iris. How you doing?
Patsy, how are you?
Oh, we're fine, thank you. But anyway, what's going on with all that group you have upstairs?
I'm packing my bags. I'm leaving.
We're leaving where?
I'm going to England.
England?
Yes. You want to come?
Well, England? You know, you just have fooled me. You're going to America, innit? She's going to America.
I'm going to England. I want to go to England and pledge my allegiance to the crown. The land of hope and glory. There's big opportunities.
No, man, there's nothing there at England.
Listen, I'm telling you, come with me.
Well, you know what? We have
Leave
an uncle.
all this behind.
But we have an uncle called Mashi. He live in a Gloucester or Glasgow.
No, that is the country they have in England. It's called Gloucester.
Oh yes,
That's what it's
Gloucester.
called. That's where you're going. I think you should pack all your things and come with me. It's 1955 and the Windrush boat is coming. Let's just go.
I don't know if I should go because I have my grandparents Them all, you know, I'm my mother. I'm my pitney them. I'm my husband, my boyfriend.
Listen, when we arrive, we will be British citizens.
Citizen?
Yes, we are part of the country.
Country?
Come on.
London is the place for me. London, this lovely city. You can go to France or America, India, Asia or Australia, but you must come back to London City. Well, believe me, I am speaking broad-mindedly. I am glad to know my mother country. I've been traveling to countries years ago, but this the place I wanted to know. London, that's the place for me.
The first time we come in England, I thought I was coming to a factory. Pure smoke come out of the rooftop. But after Mass Bessie said his houses, I was a bit more calm. But what about the food? Lord of His mercy, I found me soul food. Where my food then? No dasheen, no hafu yam, no, none of the Trenton. Sorry, Trenton there, but not like with Pee-wee at the house. But all I know that the place cool, they're cool, and also the people them. Some like you, some don't. I don't know which way to turn. I don't want to be here anymore.
What's you space doing over there? We don't want you round here. Hey, you and your little pickaninnies. We don't want you. Hey, can you read? Can you read what it says on the door? Hey, we don't want you. Why don't you go back to where you came from? We don't want no blacks. We don't want no dogs, and we don't want no Irish round here. Now go on. Be gone with you.
You all come back with somebody.
People without a knowledge of their history is like a tree without no roots. So says Marcus Garvey. He was sent as a prophet to lead us out of the darkness and shadows of this world. Oh, Marcus Garvey. The ends you serve that are selfish will take you no further than yourself. So says Marcus Garvey. People are walking around blindly. What they live is not the reality. Oh, Marcus Garvey. Rise up yourself from within. We are Jaja's children. We have a higher calling. So says Marcus Garvey. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. The ends that you serve that are selfish will take you no further than yourself. So says Marcus Garvey. He was sent as a prophet to lead us out of the darkness and shadows of this world. Oh, Marcus Garvey.
children, we have a higher calling. So says Marcus Garvey. Rise up yourself from within. We are Judge's children. We have a higher calling. So says Marcus Garvey. Oi, 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 oi. Marcus. Oi, 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 oi. Marcus Garvey. Oi, 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 oi. Marcus Garvey.
Thank you.
I'd like to know what you know about the Windrush.
Actually, I do know a lot about Windrush. Don't know whether you know, but during the week I actually teach. I teach maths usually, but I do have an interest in history. Because Windrush, it all happened by accident, by the way. I don't know whether you know the story. Like aspirin was discovered by accident. Vaseline, as in petroleum jelly, that was discovered by accident. And Windrush happened by accident, really, when you think about it. Because what had happened was, my father was in the Second World War in the British Indian Army. And he was stationed in Italy for a while. Then he was stationed in Egypt for a while as well. He was in the medical corps. And he survived, because he obviously got us here into this country. But what had happened in 1948 was Clement Attlee, who was the Prime Minister at that time, they'd come up with this new Immigration Act. And the idea was that we'd actually have all the skilled people from the Commonwealth countries come to this country. What they originally thought, as I understand it, was that they'll get people from New Zealand, people from Australia, no worries, mate, Australia and also Canada coming over. What they didn't realize was that there might be people from Jamaica and the Caribbean islands, and there's 28 plus the territories, that they might want to come over as well, and the Indians. So what had happened was, without them realizing, without the government realizing, there was the Empress Windrush had gone to the Caribbean, taken a load of people, and they're actually transferred over. They're staying there, and now the captain had a dilemma. He had an empty ship. He didn't want to come back. And
Why did he decide to go and get some other people then?
Well, no. Well, this is what he thought. He said, I don't want to bring an empty ship back because it'll cost me in fuel. So he then said, well, the law's just been passed in the UK that any of the Commonwealth citizens can come and work here. And so he thought, let's fill the ship with anybody that wants to come to the UK. So he advertised in the local paper, £28 a passage to the UK. So he very quickly then put the advert out. A lot of people applied, but it had to be skilled labor, people that actually had some sort of skill. There were machinists, there were clerks, people who could actually type and all those sort of things. So 350 people were selected. They had the money, £28. Some of them were ex-soldiers, some of them weren't. But some of them had worked in the British services. So they then got onto the ship. Within 5 days, it had to be within 5 days, very quickly. And they're saying the government representative in Jamaica all of a sudden sent a message back to the UK saying there are 350 black men, mostly black men, coming over. The government didn't know what the hell to do now, because they were thinking they're going to have these white people assimilating into the white community, but now then they were worried now. What's going to happen? How are they going to integrate with the local community? But they had no choice, because they'd already passed the act. And they had to stick to what they'd said. So all these people, 350 people, left the Caribbean hoping to have a better life. And it was all by accident. So it wasn't planned, it just happened within 5 days, like a lot of things. And that's the sort of, obviously there were problems later on, because then they didn't realize what was going to happen. All of a sudden, there's like 3,500 people coming over almost every month. And then India, yes, my father came here in 63. You know, he served in the British Army, so he wanted to come over because he was part of that parade, the Victory Parade in 1948, when all the soldiers were marching in London. So he was here for 5 days. He was selected. And he said he was here 2 days before the parade, and he stayed 2 days after. And he thought, he loves this. This is brilliant, isn't it? A lot of people thought, this is our mother country, because they served the British in the war. You know, so they wanted to come here because these are the mother country. They thought they were going to be welcomed.
Manny,
Yes, different story. Let's get on with the
everything that
video.
you're saying is so true. And we know this is right. You know, the people that came on Emperor Windrush and have built the city of Gloucester, which I'm a really proud reporter to be part of, because you're all bloody awesome. Okay, and you've made the city what it is today, and it couldn't have been sustainable if it wasn't for people coming over here to rebuild our city and actually the country. But, Manny, your story's great, but I'd like to hear the videos and the interviews from the other people that have given their testimonies. Is that okay? Cheers, mate.
Carry
Over
on.
to you. Cheers.
One of the reasons all my mates that we grew up together with leave the area. Some gone off to America, some gone to Canada and to England. And actually, I was like the only grown up in the year at that age group. And it was one December month I went to the fair. And when I looked, I was the biggest youngster among the rest. And I said, what am I doing here? I will have to move on, because these guys that I'm rubbing shoulder with is much, much younger than I. So I decided in my mind that I'm going to look some other avenue. Anyway, I went and booked my fare. I went back home and told my mother, whatever I have clean, put it into a grip, because I'm going. So she said, where are you going? I said, I'm going off to England. She couldn't believe it, but that was what I did. And I was told when I leave and come here, she take bed for about a week. And funnily, I got brothers and I got sister leave, and she never fell into that, position to take it so hard. So that was it, and I came on to England. All I have was two addresses. I have one in London and I have one in Gloucester. And when I came on to Gloucester, there was a toss-up whether to stop in London at my cousin Arco and make the journey down to Gloucester. And Gloucester was in my mind all the time, so I said, there's a toss-up. And the toss-up was, anyway, I must say another word, I spin a coin. And the coin, when I said Gloucester head, it was Gloucester, and that was it.
Most of us who left Jamaica in those years, everybody said, oh, well, 5 years and we'll go back home rich and happy and all that business. And it was at the back of your mind all the time that within 5 years you'll be gone. I dare say that I had the same intention. Having said that, if I could find the fare when I landed here the first day, I would have gone back the following week. But there, I didn't have as much money to take me back. Mm-hmm. Still, I got no complaint or regrets now staying anyway. I used to do tailoring. Mm-hmm. Yes, when I was back in West Indies, yeah. Yes, but that wasn't, I did not apply as a tailor. I didn't really want to, because I thought there must be other things out there that I can get into. Believe it or not, I was introduced to a factory where I got a job as a laborer, yeah? Mm-hmm. But then I tell myself that everybody got to start from somewhere. And it doesn't matter whether you're sweeping up the floor or what it is, but you start where you stand and then you move on. So I worked in this engineering company 15 miles away from home, traveled there every day. Was doing laboring job. That didn't last too long because I was upgraded to a semi-skill, well, I wouldn't say semi-skill, but was upgraded to operate a machine, making engine parts and so on. And that was my stepping stone to move up.
I left Jamaica on the 21st of October 1960, arrived there on the 22nd of October 1960. I had slight apprehension or fear of the unknown, but the fact that I had my father who traveled 7 years earlier to England, my brother who came here in 1955, and you know, a lot of other family members and friends. I was looking forward in a way to come to England, not only to see my family and friends, but to secure a better education for myself. That was one of the primary objectives of coming to England. But the thing that I remember quite well is the fact traveling from Paddington to Gloucester on the train and seeing the chimneys on top of the roofs, the houses. And this story I've been told, been replicated so many times. I'm sure you would have heard it. You'd have heard this story already. I thought they were factories, because in Jamaica the only place that you see a chimney is on a sugarcane factory or something like that. I was very surprised. In fact, you know, I was amazed when I was told that they are not factories; they are private houses. That really stunned me, and I do remember that to this day.
There are 400 years of my ancestors who were not free, you know, all going back before their name was Mackenzie, when their name was an African name, going all the way back, that were not free. And I become a descendant of one of those people who is free. How can I let down all them people? That's the thought we had. Today, children don't have that. Today, we live in a Thatcherite, Reaganomic, I'm on my own, me must get anything I can get, money-orientated society. And money has been the back of everything. It was the back of slavery, and it's the back of what's happening to youth today. And they're not looking at longevity of life, they're just looking at quality of life now.
My dad came over in 1957. Yeah. He came with £5 in his pocket. He didn't go on the Windrush boat. He came on a plane, and he came to Gloucester, straight to Gloucester, because he was invited by his older brother Henry. And then he worked at not Nick's Timber Yard, Griggs Timber Yard on Bristol Road.
Right, yeah.
And then he went to the foundry, and he realised that, you know, he wasn't used to working for the man because his dad didn't, and so he wants to run his own business. He married my mum, lived on Millbrook Street, and dead across the road was an empty shop, and he decided to buy it. My mum, she was an entrepreneur herself, so she would make patties, make coconut drops, all that good stuff, and it was white people that was coming to buy it, you know, English people. They were buying it. Yeah, patty, hiya, Jean, let's have another patty, I'll have it in a Ardo bread or whatever.
Because obviously, not only are we celebrating the Windrush generation, we're also looking at this is the Black History Month, although we have been focusing on African Caribbean history, but Asian people obviously came over to Britain as well. And the next act is actually Gayatri Gauri Shankar, who is a dancer. And if you know anything about classical Indian dancing, there's Bharatanatyam, that's what it's called. So it's not Bollywood dancing, it's Bharatanatyam. And Gauri Shankar, she's actually formed this new academy where you can learn to dance. If anybody's interested at the end of it, you can talk to Gauri about it. But it's called the Nethra Academy of Performing Arts. and that's in Gloucester and Cheltenham area, by the way. And she has her daughter working. They go to Page School. In fact, funny enough, they're doing the Diwali festival tomorrow at Page Grammar School. But she also volunteers at times, very non-profit making things. But in the meantime, what we'd like to do is to show you some Indian dancing. So, ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome Gautri Gauri Shankar?
Woo! Okay, so are we ready for the Diverse City Awards of 2019? Are we? Amazing. Okay, so we have got first up, Lifelong Community Contribution. This award is about making a difference in your community, commitment, connect with people, communities, deploying the knowledge and local charitable landscape. So, Manny.
We'd like the Mayor of Gloucester to come forward and say a few words before you do the presentation, Colin. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor of Gloucester, Colin Organ.
Thank you very much indeed, everybody. Well, first of all, I ought to start with thanking everybody for this invitation to be here tonight. It's a great event, and during my short term as mayor, I've been to about 4 or 5 of these occasions. Each of them is different. Each of them expresses themselves in different ways, but the theme is exactly the same. I was asked at one particular event to sum up what I thought about the Windrush generation going forward. And that, of course, is a very, very difficult thing to do in 2 words. but my reply was kind acceptance. And I think what I mean by that is this is all about people. It's all about the past. It's about learning from the past and making sure that we don't make the same mistakes in the future. Fortunately, in Gloucester, we've got a very diverse community. I think somebody said to me there's 72 different languages spoken within the city and concentrated in about 2 or 3 wards, which is absolutely amazing. And when I hear some stories from other cities and towns, I'm actually proud to come back to Gloucester and see the integration that is actually taking place. What we've got to do is make sure it continues and it improves. So without further ado, I'll hand you back and just say thank you very much, all the organisers, City Council for supporting, staff of the Guildhall, Val, obviously, and the event organisers, and you two guys for making it tick. So a round of applause for these two.
Thank you very much for talking. Thank you.
So let's start off with the. Colin, if you'd like to just come back and present the awards, that'd be really brilliant.
Go.
Right. So basically, let's present the first award then. This is a lifelong community contribution, then presented to Ken Mitchell, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo!
Where's Ken?
Where is Ken?
Ken is not here.
It summarises the whole evening, doesn't it, really?
Blanche McCullough, ladies and gentlemen. Blanche, you here?
Blanche, come on.
Come on.
Yes, lady. Come on.
I've known Blanche for many, many years, sickle cell anemia. You used to talk about that on my show, didn't you? Blanche, welcome. Come on. Let's get this prize.
Well done, Blanche.
This award.
Round of applause there, people. Thank you.
Matilda Campbell, ladies and gentlemen. Matilda? She's not here either. Okay. Lyndon Dennis, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, Mr. Dennis.
You know
Come on then, mate.
You know Lyndon,
yes.
don't you? You know Lyndon very well.
Oh, he's
Right.
lovely.
Yeah.
Put your phone down, Crummy.
Kim, he's filming it all. That's what it is.
What are you doing? Oh, my gosh, he's abseiling. Let's go, Mr. Dennis. Round of applause, please, guys. Thank you very much. What's the award for there, Manny?
This is lifelong community contribution.
/hero. Yeah, just general hero. Well done, guys. They're brilliant.
Lyndon, do you want to say a few words, Lyndon?
Yes, second time in probably about 2 weeks. I've been lost for words, to be honest with you. All I can say is thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you one of my stories later on, in revenge.
Thank you, Mr. Dennis. Brilliant. I've taken a photo with your phone.
And Bernard Westcar, of course, I've known him for many years. Is Bernard here? Chris Maltby, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris Maltby, yes. Please, sir. How are you? Are you coming? Come on this way. Come on this way. Brilliant. What's this for then, Manny?
Lifelong community contribution.
As well as many, many other things. There we go. Round of applause for Mr. Maltby. Thank you. I tell you what, this guy is phenomenal. He's like on GFM. He's so involved with the community, especially Podsmead. You like Podsmead, don't you?
Yeah. I've been down Podsmead supporting the cafe down there. Yeah. Well, I lost for words, but no, I just believe in community and integration. Why can't we all be together?
Why do you believe in that so much? Why is it so important to you?
Well, because we were all children of God. No,
Absolutely right. Don't you guys agree? You're children of God. Yes.
We're all children of God. Let's live as though we are. Stop hating each other, yeah?
I don't think everybody really quite gets how much he does in the community, but he is huge, aren't you?
I feel like I do a lot, honestly. I don't feel like I do a lot.
Behave, you tarts. He's great. He's so good. He's so good. And it's just so natural to this man. And he's phenomenal. So
I like encouraging people. That's my skill. Encouraging people. Like the people who've done this.
the most positive soul. Here we go, Mr. Maltby.
Brilliant.
I'll carry that. I'll have that. What, it doesn't say Kim Horton on it, though.
And the next Lifelong Community Contribution Award goes to Bren McInerney.
Oh, and it's his neighbour. Hello, Bren. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
So, how do you feel about this?
Always very special, isn't it? And it's great to see some of my wonderful friends here that I've known over 23 years, and it's great to see Blanche recognised as well, really.
Blanche is a hero.
She is a legend.
There we go. There's Bren. What would you like to say about this award?
I'd like to say so many things, really, but I think Chris summed it up really well, really, is we work better by working together, really. It's simple as that.
Short and sweet, there we go. There's Miss
Bren.
There's Bren.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Bren. I've known Bren for many years as well. And Colin, thank you very much for doing that presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, the Mayor of Gloucester.
Thank you. What are we doing now? Because I have no idea.
Val, I would like to say a few
it's
words.
It's really hot up there. I know why you're down here. Right, the reasons why, I know it's been explained why the awards was given, and particularly it's because the ones that was offered or given the award is because they are 100% supporting the black and ethnic community. There's the hospitals, the NHS, and everything else. That's where Chris comes in for GFM and all of the other things that he's been doing. And that's also for Bern, just in case someone says why. And then the other contributions, especially Blanche, she's been doing sickle cell. She's got the Black History, the Black and the Ebony Carers. She's done so much. There was supposed to be something up on the screen to show, but unfortunately that's gone awry, but it doesn't matter. So I've just wanted to explain, those are the reasons. It's because of the community input and the contribution that has been made throughout for the black and ethnic community.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Val.
Thank you.
Right. Music is the food of love, but we're not going to play any music. We're going to actually listen to some poetry now. And this is from Ramya. Her interest in poetry sort of encouraged her to write so simple poetry. And she comes from India originally, and she did a course at Oxford University as well in poetry. And she runs a blog page called Writer's Runway. Now, you're a bit of a writer, aren't you? You're a journalist.
So say.
Yeah. No. The last couple of years, her poems were of finalists in the Cheltenham Performing Arts Festival.
Wow, phenomenal.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear some poetry now from Ramya Ravishankar.
Awesome, yes, clap. Let's go.
Good evening. My first recitation will be in my mother tongue, Tamil, about my favorite Lord Shiva. The poem emphasizes my love, devotion to the Lord, meaning He is anything and everything in this world. உறவும் நீயே, உயிரும் நீயே, உண்மையும் நீயே, என் உலகமும் நீயே. உள்ளமுருகி உன்னை நான் தொழும் போது மகிழ்ச்சி வெள்ளம் பொங்கும் என் மனதில். உன்னை சரணடைய நித்தம் தொழுதேன். ஹரஹர சிவனே, கருணை கடலே, அண்ணாமலையே போற்றி. சிவோஹோம், சிவோஹோம். Thank you. I should thank Val for giving this opportunity because I had chance to really go through the Windrush history just because to write this poem. I'm really thankful to her. Windrush generation. I was a baby, happy in my womb. A royal mummy adopted to her home, leaving behind the palms, holding my arms, sail in windrush in a crush to England. We fought for the mother despite any weather. We built this nation with all our passion. I am the warrior from wild. Britain is the future for my child, with my dreams piled. After decades of breathing British air, will there be a voice asking me for documentation or deport our nation? I have no rights as I'm not white. I will be sacked as I am black. I'm anxious, I'm not your adopted child, but to fulfill your favor, a labor from wild. My skin doesn't make you to be your kin, but my blood was wanted to blossom Britain. In your careless, I'm jobless and homeless. You took the gain and left me with pain. Warning you, never do this again. Windrush generation are not just visitors, but veteran warriors. We, the colonial cousins of the crown, came winding up our town to construct British. Don't dare to distract our wish, dedicated to all Windrush victims. Thank you.
Brilliant, Ramya. Thank you very much for that. Brilliant. We're going to see some more dancing, and then we're going to break for some food.
Thank you.
Do you know, before we actually see some dance, because beauty, you might have noticed the guys are all dressed up, looking very beautiful. We know that it's the Greeks who said beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And of course, the Chinese, they added a little bit to it as well. They said, well, you only see beauty when there is ugliness. You notice that, haven't you? You only see beauty. It's only when we compare ourselves to other people we realize the differences. But what about the British? Of course, they always have to add their own little bit to it. They said, beauty is in the eye of the beer holder. Right, anyway, let me introduce you back to Gayatri Shankar, ladies and gentlemen.
Come on now, follow my lead. Come on now, follow my lead. Gama bala, gama, gama bala, gama esa. Gama bala, gama, gama bala, gama esa. Gama bani pa gama, gama bala, gama esa. Za 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 gama basa, gama. I'm in love with your body.
Absolutely fantastic. That is Gayatri Shankar. Gayatri is very talented. Not only does she do dancing, but she actually organizes various events. And if anybody wants... Gayatri, come here for a second. So you've got the Nethra Performing Arts Agency as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we started Indian Performing Arts. Sorry, I'm just...
You're out of breath at the moment. So, do you want to...
No, that's fine, thank you. We started Netra Academy of Performing Arts early last year. The reason being, we have a lot of Indian ethnic community here, but there isn't any organization or teachers to teach this art form. And as Manny mentioned before, my daughter Trinetra, she's in her final year of A-levels in Bates, and she's a professional dancer as well. So we used to actually take her to London, Bowen Centre, every weekend and spend the whole weekend learning the art form, or we go to Birmingham. So there were like a lot of inquiries asking whether we can actually start our own academy. So that's where we started the Netra. But at the same time, we don't want to actually make it commercial, so we just charge only £20. So myself, my husband, and my friend Ramya, we all volunteer at the weekend.
How can we get in touch with you?
Yeah, I've got, Val can give it, or I can give my phone number. And we have email address.
Okay, you can leave that for us so we can access it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Or
if you guys want that email address or phone number, then you're going to give it to me, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'll give it to the rest of you guys.
We have a Facebook page as well, so if you look for Netra Academy of Performing Arts, and then you can get in touch with us. We also do a lot of charity programs to raise funds.
Fab.
For the community, like churches, So yeah, so that's our intention. Thank you.
Well
Great,
done,
thank
you.
much. Gayatri.
Amazing. Thank you
Gayatri
very
Shankar.
much. Right, so guys, we've got one more act tonight before we break. Okay, so you ready for this? He is a poet. He's called Tony Bryan. Tony started writing 18 years ago. Apparently, he's quite quick-witted with words, and he recalled one night not being able to sleep as his head was full of words. He attributes his poetry as a gift from God, and he now appreciates the power of the written word. He's now going to recite a poem, possibly two. Can you give Mr. Tony Bryan a round of applause? Thank you very much. Cheers.
Sorry, but I have to go up here. That's all right, I'm black, don't worry about it. That's my wife, and she's Polish, and we're not allowed to talk about Brexit, or maybe I should. Hey, I'm not qualified to be a poet. I never tried to write. I've never had any formal training. But one night I couldn't sleep, and God just started downloading stuff to me. I know people say that they try different things and blah, blah, blah. I didn't try. I still don't try. I just get in that place, and God just speaks to me and downloads stuff to me. So I'm not really the author, I'm just a writer. That's fine. That's fine. I got it. Yeah. Thank you. A couple of weeks ago, we had a Windrush celebration at the New Tea Church, and I was asked to write a poem. I was very busy at the time, and I thought I need to go and deal with this. So I sat down, and as I sat down, God just downloaded this poem to me. It was like in 3 minutes. And as always, I go and I recite the poem to my wife, and I try to write it from the perspective of being in the Windrush. As I began to recite the poem to her, I wept like a baby. And this has never happened before, and I just knew the impact of this. And I've talked to some people after recited this at the Windrush thing, and I don't take any acclaim for this, but it's probably one of my longest poems. So it goes like this. Our dreams are finally visualized. At last, the ship has come. When daylight breaks, we will make land and see the English sun. The suitcases we have carried were not just filled with clothes, but sentiments of island life, a faith that always grows. Our Bibles and redemption songs were also tucked inside. A new life in the land of gold, the country God abides. What we face would far exceed expectations and our dreams. Life on the other side of the world isn't always what it seems. The jobs were there, but didn't exist. Rooms to rent, but not for blacks. Every day, our men and children would end up on their backs. The Irish and the poor old dog were treated just the same. Abuse was verbalized out loud by calling us rude names. But still they could not crush us. We were here and here to stay. Perseverance and integrity, deciding come what may. Our God had traveled with us across the ocean wide, that at last when we had landed, in him we would abide. New beginnings started as a house group, then in schoolrooms we would meet. After prayer and supplication, each other we would greet. Years have passed since first we landed, steadfast, safe, and secure. Our faith has not diminished. It has grown more and more. Our children went to Sunday school, learned to shout and sing. Lots of them have left the faith, sadly no longer worship him. But still our parents keep the faith, for God has stayed their course, serving and believing him. How could there be remorse? And we, no longer children, have grown to adulthood. Our parents gave us all they had and did the best they could. Now, standing on the bridge of life, we try to contemplate, relating to the grandchildren, the Windrush debate. At the Windrush event I went to, I heard someone talk about the veteran in Manchester who died without no living relatives. This was on the BBC. And if you look on the website, you see the interview I did with them. I decided, well, that night, first of all, my children were restless. And about 12 o'clock, I put them back to bed, sat on the edge of the bed, and God downloaded another poem to me. And I made a decision to do something crazy, to drive up to Manchester to say goodbye to a veteran I'd never met. I rang a couple of friends and we decided to drive down to Manchester. We got there and we were the first people there. The BBC were there, they interviewed us, and it was a wonderful celebration, wonderful occasion. And this is the poem I wrote for the veteran, whose name was Oswald Dixon. The mantle has been handed from grandfather to grandson. Your heartbeat you surrendered, no longer live beneath the sun. The dugout was your dwelling place, that we could stand and live, lest we forget your sacrifice, while your life you freely give. No price could pay for what you gave, for lots did not return. I pray that in the portals, there's a lesson we can learn. Fly high up like the eagle, in the skies now you must roar. For heaven now your dwelling place, on the earth you are no more. But carved in my imagination is a figure I can't lose. The legacy you left me is such a massive groove. So it's in peace, my dear soldier, that I salute you one last time. When we meet again in heaven, it will be joy divine.
Great. Thank you very much, Tony Bryan. Tony, before you sit down, and as you step down the steps, tell me, you say that you think this is God-given, so you get these messages. Explain that to me.
I think you misheard me. This is definitely God-given.
Yeah.
It's not a probability. I empathize with something I'm going to write, and the words just flow into my mind, and I write down what comes into my head.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. There we are. Tony, thank you very much for that. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a short break now for some food, and then I'll see you after that. Thank you very much.